Welcome along to the Rugby Obsession podcast. If you're passionate about rugby, definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our deep dives.
Great to be here.
So today, we've got an article you sent over from Planet Rugby. It's focusing on some potentially big news for the Sharks and Springbok fans.
That's right. It's about Eben Etzebeth, the big lock, and his possible return to playing.
Yeah, exactly. So our mission today is basically to unpack this, get into the key details from the article for everyone listening.
Sounds good. The main headline really is that Etzebeth seems close. Closer than he's been for a while, anyway.
Okay, so he's been out for a bit, hasn't he? Since December.
Yeah, that's right. The article mentions he got injured in that Champions Cup game against Exeter Chiefs.
Ah, yeah. Nasty timing. What was the actual injury?
It was a head injury, a concussion specifically. And, the return process has been, well, complicated. Delayed a few times because of recurring symptoms, apparently.
Right, recurring symptoms with concussion. That's always worrying. Needs careful handling.
Absolutely. And that seems to be the case here. The Sharks, director of rugby, Neil Powell, he's been quoted.
Okay, what did Powell have to say? Is he hopeful?
He sounds pretty positive, actually. He's indicated Etzebeth is likely for the upcoming UK tour squad.
The tour against Edinburgh and Ulster.
That's the one. Powell apparently told Rappaport's sports podcast, let me get the quote right. I believe Eben will be back for the match against Edinburgh. He's on target for that.
On target.
Yeah.
Okay, that does sound definite, or, well, as definite as these things can be.
It's certainly the most positive language we've heard for a while.
In the article, it stresses how seriously the Sharks have taken this, right? The whole concussion management.
Yeah, very much so. They point back to an update from February where the club mentioned a return of symptoms.
Setbacks.
Exactly. But the key thing they said then was that player welfare was, like, the #1 priority, which is good to hear. They mentioned he was being managed by concussion specialists and basically wouldn't get cleared until they were totally happy everything was resolved, no chances taken.
That's the right approach, absolutely. And it wasn't just the club being careful, was it? Rassie Erasmus got involved, too.
Yeah, the Springboks coach, he spoke about it back in early March. He also really stressed not rushing Etzebeth.
Makes sense. National asset. You want him right for the long term?
Totally. And interestingly, Rassie mentioned consulting what he called a concussion guru, Dr. Pierre Viviers.
A concussion guru? Wow. Okay, so they really brought in the big guns, expertise-wise.
Seems like it. It just underscores the level of care,
So what was Rassie's main point about the process?
He explained it quite clearly. Said when a guy is totally concussion-free, he starts from a clean sheet again. And that's what we always want.
A clean sheet. Makes sense. Resetting completely.
Yeah. And he emphasized that, players who fail HIA protocols, they're never pushed back too early. Etzebeth needed to hit that concussion-free point first.
So, proper protocols, expert opinions, no shortcuts. Sounds like a joined-up approach between club and country.
That's the impression, yeah. Which is important.
Given those previous setbacks, you can understand the caution. I think the article mentioned the Sharks coach, John Plumtree, was even hesitant to give updates.
That's right, yeah. Plumtree had apparently said something like he was too scared to be positive because every time he'd raised hopes before, things went backwards.
Oof. Yeah, that shows the frustration, doesn't it? The difficult nature of these injuries.
Definitely. It's not always a straightforward recovery path.
But this latest news, the Planet Rugby piece, it does sound genuinely more optimistic now.
It really does. The overall tone suggests he's finally there. Regained full fitness is the implication.
Okay, good news. And there was more. Something about other Springboks returning too.
Yes. That's another significant boost for the Sharks mentioned in the article. Afileo Fassi, Lucanio M, and Grant Williams are also apparently set to return to action.
Wow, okay. M, Fassi, Williams, and Etzebeth potentially back for the tour.
Yeah. That's a huge injection of quality all at once.
Huge is right.
Mm.
That changes the picture quite a bit for the Sharks heading to the UK, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're talking about serious international experience, skill, leadership, bringing all that back into the squad for tough away games against Edinburgh and Ulster. It's massive.
Definitely gives them a much stronger hand to play.
No question. It could really lift their performance levels for those crucial URC matches.
Right. Well, look, if you're enjoying this sort of deep dive into the latest rugby news, remember to subscribe to Rugby Obsession. We do this regularly.
Yeah, definitely do that. And it does make you think, doesn't it? What are the expectations now for Etzebeth when he does step back on the pitch?
Yeah, good question. After such a long, careful recovery.
And with Fassy, and Williams coming back too, how does that whole dynamic shift for the Sharks in these next games? What's the impact going to be?
We genuinely love to hear what you listeners think. What are your thoughts on Etzebeth's return? And the impact of all these guys coming back? Head to the comments, let us know.
Please do.
So wrapping this up then, it seems like finally some really positive news regarding Eben Etzebeth. His return looks imminent.
Yep. And alongside those other key Springboks.
And it's reassuring, isn't it?
Right.
Seeing the really thorough, cautious approach from both the Sharks and the Springboks with the concussion. Player welfare first.
Absolutely. It really highlights the protocols now in place, the level of specialist care involved in managing head injuries in the modern game, even for, one of the biggest names in world rugby.
Couldn't agree more. Right, that's us for this deep dive.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession podcast. We hope you'll join us for our next episode.